The public sees a barren wasteland of dust and craters, but the high-resolution raw files beamed back to Langley tell a different story. Since the Viking landers in the 1970s, sensors have detected rhythmic metabolic signatures in the Martian soil. The data was immediately scrubbed, replaced by inconclusive results to prevent a global shift in human philosophy. In 1976, Viking 1 photographed a massive human-like face. NASA dismissed it as a trick of light and shadow, but leaked internal documents suggest the face is a weathered monument, part of a city complex that aligns with the Giza pyramids. The blurring of subsequent images wasn't a technical failure. It was a deliberate digital burial of an ancient cousin's tomb. Curiosity and perseverance keep stumbling upon plumes of methane. On Earth, methane is a byproduct of life. NASA calls it geological interaction. However, the plumes coincide with the Martian spring, echoing the awakening of underground microbial colonies. The mission parameters are designed to look for life eventually, while suppressing the fact that they've already found it. Rovers have rolled over rocks that bear the unmistakable patterns of stromatolites, ancient bacterial reefs. Colleges who pointed this out were silenced or reassigned. These structures suggest that Mars didn't just have water. It had a teeming, complex biosphere that thrived for billions of years before a planetary cataclysm turned the surface into a radioactive desert. Satellite images show translucent, ribbed structures winding through the Martian canyons. NASA calls them sand dunes. Skeptics call them the glass worms of Mars. They appear to be biological or artificial transit tubes, partially buried by millennia of dust. If the public knew Mars had infrastructure, the current geopolitical order on Earth would collapse overnight. Ancient Mars was a twin of Earth, with blue oceans and a thick atmosphere. The official timeline says it lost its air 3 billion years ago. But certain Black Project researchers claim the collapse was much more recent, perhaps only 50,000 years ago, and that the remnants of that civilization still exist in deep pressurized underground aquifers. In one photo, a small metallic-looking object resembling a coin or a gear was seen on the ground. NASA claimed it was a piece of the rover that fell off, but the rover showed no damage. The artifact is proof that Mars was once a site of industrial activity. These images are quickly reprocessed to remove anomalies before they reach the public servers. A famous rover selfie caught a shadow that looks like a humanoid in a suit tinkering with the equipment, while likely a projection of the rover's arm, fueled theories of a secret space program already operating on Mars. The idea is that we aren't just looking for life, we are already living there alongside whatever survived the red planet's fall. Spectrometric data shows high concentrations of xenon-129 in the Martian atmosphere, an isotope only found after nuclear explosions. Physicist John Brandenburg argues that 2 massive nuclear airbursts occurred on Mars in the distant past. This suggests Mars didn't just die, it was murdered in a cosmic war, a secret the government keeps to avoid mass hysteria. Radar has detected liquid water lakes miles beneath the southern ice cap. NASA admits the water is there but claims it's too salty for life. However, terrestrial extremophiles thrive in saltier conditions. The salt excuse is a gatekeeping mechanism to prevent the biological gold rush that would occur if we admitted there is a giant, inhabited sea under the ice. Mars is pockmarked with vertical skylight holes leading into massive lava tubes. These tubes are shielded from radiation and have stable temperatures. Thermal imaging shows heat leaking from these holes, heat that doesn't match the surrounding rock. It is the signature of a subterranean biosphere at inner Mars where life has retreated to survive the sun. The Perseverance rover is currently catching samples for a future return. Critics believe the return mission is a cover. The samples have already been analyzed in situ and confirmed to contain organic DNA. The return is a way to move this alien biology into secure, private labs without the oversight of international biological treaties. Certain Martian rocks show varnish similar to that produced by manganese-oxidizing bacteria on Earth. When this was noted in early rover data, the sensors were recalibrated. The government is terrified that admitting Mars is biologically active would require them to cede control of the planet to international ecological protection laws. The Martian moon, Phobos, features a giant rectangular monolith standing hundreds of feet tall. Buzz Aldrin himself mentioned it on national TV. Many believe Phobos is actually an artificial, hollowed-out satellite, a monitoring station left behind by the Martians to watch their dying world and the burgeoning life on the third planet. The complex sky crane landings are marvels of engineering, but some whistleblowers claim these landings are also used to deploy bioscrubbers, devices that sterilize the area around the rover to ensure that any life detected is new and doesn't conflict with the government's pre-approved timeline of ancient dead microbes. Arthur C. Clarke famously pointed to images of what looked like banyan trees near the Martian poles. NASA called them CO2 geysers or dark streaks, but these streaks grow and shrink with the seasons, exhibiting the same branching patterns as terrestrial vegetation. The red planet might actually be a green planet in disguise. In 1996, Bill Clinton announced that a Martian meteorite found in Antarctica contained fossils. Shortly after, the scientific community debunked it, claiming it was just weird chemistry. This was the first test balloon for disclosure. When the public didn't panic, the secret was pulled back into the shadows to keep the gods of the status quo in power. NASA says the Martian atmosphere is 1% of Earth's, but some skeptics point to the way dust devils move and how parachutes deploy as evidence that the air is much thicker, perhaps 30% of Earth's. A thicker atmosphere could support liquid water and surface life. The thin air lie keeps civilian scientists from realizing Mars is habitable today. Rumors persist of a joint mission in the early 60s using captured alien technology to reach Mars. This alternative 3 scenario suggests that a small colony of elite humans and extraterrestrials has been on Mars for decades. The rovers we see today are just toys sent to distract the public, while the real work happens in the high-tech bunkers. Spirit rover's images from Gusev crater often showed strange statue-like rocks and perfectly carved blocks. Whenever the rover got close to a high-interest target, it mysteriously suffered a memory glitch, or was commanded to turn away. The anomalies are treated as technical errors rather than the ruins of a fallen neighbor. A prominent entomologist once claimed to see insect-like and reptilian forms in rover photos, identifying legs, antennae, and wings. He was ridiculed until he retracted his statements. The pareidolia defense is the government's strongest weapon if you see life. It's just your brain playing tricks, even if the trick has a heartbeat. If Mars is so radioactive, how do the rovers last for years? Some suspect the rovers utilize biocoating or electromagnetic shields, reverse-engineered from Martian biology. The visitors of Mars had a way to thrive under a broken magnetosphere, a secret that would revolutionize medicine and space travel if it weren't a black project. Inside the ruins of the Cydonia complex, it is rumored there is a library of data Martian hard drives made of crystal. These contain the history of our solar system. The government has already retrieved some of this data, which is why our modern computer tech progressed so fast in the late 20th century. We are living on the echoes of Martian wisdom. Several rover photos show objects that look like sun-bleached humanoid skulls. NASA calls them Venefax rocks shaped by wind. But the anatomy is 2 precise eye sockets, nasal cavities, and jawlines. These are the bone fields of Mars, the grim evidence of a species that was biologically identical to us, left to rot in the red dust. Every year the Martian ice caps recede, revealing dark, moist soil. Spectral analysis shows chlorophyll-like signatures in these areas. NASA attributes this to minerals. They are afraid that admitting the existence of Martian plants would force a global conversation about our own environmental mismanagement and our duty to other worlds. Deep space monitors have picked up low-frequency radio bursts coming from the Martian interior. These aren't natural. They have a repetitive coded structure. They are pings, automated beacons or survivors calling out into the dark. These signals are blocked by national security filters before they can be analyzed by civilian astronomers. In 2006, the Mars Global Surveyor vanished after spotting something unusual in the Halley crater. The official story was a battery failure. So the truth is that it photographed a massive, illuminated entrance to an underground base. The satellite was deorbited, destroyed to ensure the photo never reached the public domain. High-altitude shots show perfectly straight lines stretching for hundreds of miles, crossing craters and mountains. They look like ancient highways or canals. NASA calls them tectonic fractures, but they follow the curvature of the planet and connect anomalous sites. They are the arteries of a dead world, still visible to those who know where to look. Secret atmospheric tests on Earth are often used to simulate Martian conditions. Whistleblowers say we are seeding Mars with Earth bacteria to make it more habitable for us, while simultaneously wiping out the native Martian species. It is a planetary takeover disguised as exploration, the ultimate colonial secret of the 21st century. Mars isn't as red as the photos show. Original Earth-like color calibrations show a sky that is salmon pink or even light blue, with gray-green rocks. NASA applies a red filter to make it look as alien and inhospitable as possible. This color gate ensures that we don't feel a homely connection to a planet that is actually very much like ours. The D&M Pyramid in Cydonia is a 5-sided structure that defies natural erosion patterns. It shows mathematical constants in its geometry. This isn't just a rock, it's a lighthouse of intelligence. The government knows that if we admit the pyramids are real, we admit that our history books are a fiction written by those who fear the truth. Mars has 38% of Earth's gravity. Biologists know that life would grow taller and more fragile there. Descriptions of the grays match the physiological requirements of a low-gravity environment. Are the aliens just Martians who escaped their dying world and have been living in our oceans ever since? Area 51 and Mars are two sides of the same coin. The rovers are the eyes of the state. They aren't looking for life. They are sentinels ensuring that no one else finds it. Every discovery is a carefully managed PR event designed to keep us interested but ignorant. The red planet is a vault, and the missions are the locks that keep the secret of our origins tucked away in the dust. A planned discovery is on the horizon. To distract from Earth's problems, NASA will soon find a fossilized worm or a simple cell. This limited disclosure will satisfy the public's curiosity while keeping the cities, the nuclear war, and the subterranean survivors safely hidden for another 100 years. One day, a private mission will land without a government minder. They will see the blue sky, the green moss, and the ruins of the elder race. On that day, the Mars mission lies will crumble. We will realize that Mars isn't a graveyard, it's a mirror. And what we found there wasn't alien, it was the story of our own future, written in the sand.